What's good, family? Another episode of From the Crib podcast joined with your boy Phil,
What's good?
E, and K. What's going on, fellas?
On. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So today we're gonna start off with our first segment, which is called Good Brother. And I call it Good Brother. It reminds me of my man Twan the Twan Donster, who was, it was good, but Good Brother. And with the show good, with the topic Good Brother is I'm gonna ask two questions to each. U and K, E and K, right? So y'all answer the question. Some of them might be multiple choice. Some of them might be just like topic questions that you should know about your brother, and that make you a good brother. So are you gonna be his bro or you gonna be his foe? I mean, are we brothers or y'all co-workers? That's what we're gonna break down today. And today I got a surprise for y'all. It's check out this. So it's a 101. It's a one of one designed by your boy Philly Cash. Custom graphic tee for the prize today. From the Crib podcast.
Okay.
And that's not even the best part of it. Check out the back. Who gave this nigga an opportunity?
Yeah, that's hard.
So this is the prize.
Yeah, that's hard.
So we got the one of one From the Crib podcast. I'm actually going to set it up behind me. I got my little set.
Dang, who made that joke?
Because that was what I could, courtesy of Towson Mall. Y'all know I'll be in the city. Look, can y'all see it? Let me set my little.
What size is that?
I got it in the 2X.
Can't fit that. Can't nobody fit that, but okay. I put it on the wall.
Well, then I guess y'all gonna have to return it.
You might have to put them on the market for real. That might have to be the first merch drop right there.
We got who gave this nigga out.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be my backdrop today.
Tough though.
All right, so we're gonna start with the first question. Who wants to start it out?
I start. Go ahead, E.
All right. So, all right, E. So, K played high school baseball for Northern baseball team in the early 2000s, where he recorded a city championship. What was their mascot? What was Northern's mascot?
A Northern Viking. I already knew that.
Oh, okay. He got it. All right. All right, it's on you, K.
All
right. Ellis played for the University of Shepherd in the 2012-2013 season. During his time there, what two jersey numbers did Ellis wear during his time at Shepherd?
14 and I don't know, 33.
You got that. He got it. He got that. All right, E, explain that one though, E. I know I didn't get catch to explain his northern traits, but we're gonna get to it. But
yeah.
Explain that.
So when I got, this is funny because when I left URI, I went to Essex to take a couple classes, right? So at this time, I'm not, the only way I know how to get into school is getting a scholarship and just going, right? So I have no clue how I'm going to get back in school. So Trev, shout out to Trev Turner, he told me, he was at Shepherd at the time. He was like, hey, they having tryouts up here. You should come try out. At this point, I ain't have an option. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to come up there and try out. So Dad took me up West Virginia. It was like a combine setting. We was running 40s, running shuttles, we doing bench press, and we did a couple position drills. So I'm and mind you, I only had like two weeks to get in shape for it because I'm not in like football shape. I'm just trying to graduate so I can get to the next school. So we did a little combine, and then none of the coaches had said nothing to me. So I'm like, I don't got nowhere to go after this, yo. What we gonna do? I get in the car with Dad. He's like, so what they say? And I'm like, ain't nobody say nothing to me. He was like, you had me drive up here and nobody said nothing to you? I said, hold on, I'll be back. I got in the car and went up to the coach office. I'm looking at the coach. I was like, I found with the DB coach. I like, coach, like y'all gonna call me, or like how I supposed to know if I made the team, if I can make it into the school. And then he was like, we'll give you a call. So 2 weeks later, he called me. He was like, hey man, we got grants for you. Boom, boom, come up. So when I came up, I'm just there as a DB, and I'm playing through DB camp, but I see that they already had like 5 DBs already there. They already had scouted them. That's their guys. So I went to the head coach office. They gave me 33. They just gave me the last like DB number. They gave me 33. I'm like, I'm gonna rock it out, whatever. So I go to after the season. Well, not after the season, after the spring game. after the spring game or something like that, or after the first game at the Shippensburg. Y'all came up to that game. That game was live. Yeah. After the first game, I'm like, yo, I'm not seeing the field. I'm playing special teams. I'm like, nah, this ain't going down, bro. Like, so I went to the head coach. I was like, Coach, let me play my natural position. Let me play quarterback. And he was like, he didn't care. He was like, oh, I'm on the fourth on the depth chart at DB. I don't care. Okay. The next practice, went to the equipment room. They had 14. They gave me 14. Gave me a yellow jersey, and I'm practicing with the QBs. Only black quarterback on the roster. So you already know what I'm doing at practice. I'm launching every ball, 50, 60 yards, bulleting, splitting defenders, throwing the ball as hard as I can. And then that's when they was like, oh, yeah, this dude can play. So ever since then, they kept me at 14. I became the second wide receiver and quarterback. I'm playing in the games. So that's how I ended up getting 14. I just kind of bet it on myself. I was like, man, I'm not about to be the fourth string cornerback. I'm just about to be an athlete on here and just show what I could do.
I was about to say, because it was like, you don't see that too often. Somebody come in there and change their number on the same season. You know what I mean?
Nah, bro. So
I was like,
they didn't know me, bro. They were trying to treat me like trash. They didn't know me, bro. I'm a walk-on.
Yeah, on that same thing, though. So if the listeners don't know, you had a scholarship to Rhode Island, but throughout high school, you were a quarterback. How did you end up being, I think at first, a running back and then a cornerback at Rhode Island?
When I went to Rhode Island, they had me marked down as an athlete as their recruiting class coming in. So they didn't even give me a position coming in. So by the time I get into training camp for URI, we had the conditioning test. That conditioning test I had you doing at 110, Bill? 110?
Yeah, 16 110s, yeah.
So we came into camp, and all the, majority of the upperclassmen failed it. And the coach was pissed. He was like, y'all running all practice. Every practice, all practice. So it was like 4 practices where we didn't have no upperclassmen. So who getting the reps? The freshmen. All the freshmen getting the reps, and all the upperclassmen running around the field getting in shape because they didn't pass that conditioning test. So I'm getting all the reps. I'm getting mad tape. I'm getting mad one-on-ones. I'm getting mad film. So after by the time mids, I'm getting reps at corner because all the corners failed their conditioning test. So they needed DBs. As an athlete, they just put me over there like, hey, look, we need DBs. Hey, we don't got no bodies. So I'm putting good tape on there. The season come along, I'm one of the 2 freshmen starting. Just because upperclassmen failed the conditioning test and I was getting mad practice film and I was just getting way better. I'm adjusting to college ball faster. So when we was talking about in last show, like opportunities, bro, sometimes it's just luck. And I was just lucking out on every single corner, bro. I went in there I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. But happened people didn't fail their conditioning test, and all of a sudden I'm the second corner playing all snaps.
So one of the things, and I think this to be true, the coach that recruited you ended up going to the NFL before you got there, right?
Right. So when we coming in as freshmen, right before we get to camp, we get a call saying, "Hey, Coach Rizzi going to the Dolphins. Do you still want to honor your scholarship?" I'm like, hell yeah. Ain't nobody else knocking on my door, bro. So I'm like, yeah. So when we get...
Yeah, and then at that point, they pass you copy at that point.
What I'm supposed to do? I'm a chill. Nah, I like Rizzy. He was cool. But, so we get up there. We are basically a brand new recruiting class with a coach that didn't even pick us. So, imagine how that is. And then the year before that, they had a Hard Knocks. They had a Hard Knocks on the local TV. So we watching, last season, watching their Hard Knocks on TV. So we thinking, this is lit. But Rizzy had it going to another level. He had cameras everywhere, kind of compared to Dion, what was Dion doing. He's building a storyline for the university and bringing that attention to it. As soon as he left, all things changed. We just got a mischief coaching staff that got old Rutgers coaches on it. You know what I'm saying? We just got old Rutgers coaches on our staff. So
he wasn't even on the
He wasn't on the staff prior. He came from Brown. He came from Bowling Green. That's where he came from. They just found interim coach real quick. We just got a whole bunch of old Rutgers assistant coaches that really was kind of misplaced because their head coach left. Yeah. So that was like kind of crazy coming into, and he was probably like, I think a lot of those players would say that he was one of those coaches that you didn't really like connected with at all.
And he's still in the NFL, right?
Yeah, I think so. I believe he was an interim head coach this year, wasn't he? I think he stepped in for one of the coaches that had got fired.
Okay. Hey, call him back, see if you can get a coaching job.
No, for sure. All right, back to the good brother questions. I think it's up. I think it's on you, E. So y'all tied 1-1. Y'all both got your first question right. All right. So currently, K is the proprietor of Kendrick Foster Tech YouTube channel, influencing audiences where tech meets reality. According to YouTube, what year was his channel established? I got some multiple choice for you. A, 2011. B, 2009. C, 2020.
Who is it's me, right?
It's you.
That's right.
What year was Kendrick Foster Tech channel established?
I'm gonna go with 2020.
That is incorrect. This channel was established
2009.
2009. So K, 2009. K, give us a little background about what influenced you to start your channel. Then were you doing this since 2009, or did some things shift over time?
No, so yeah, that's inaccurate. So I knew he was gonna get that wrong. Basically, rookie mistake when I first started my channel was I just used my YouTube account that I watch YouTube on, and that date you're saying is just when the account was created. I didn't start making videos until 2021.
Oh,
so yeah, that date is just. If you go on the back end of YouTube, you're gonna see old videos of Phil dancing. You're gonna see old music videos we made. Like that's just my my YouTube account at the time that I used to watch, and I didn't make a new one when I created my channel. So that's why that date is saying 2009.
All right, that was a trick question, but according to the YouTube, that's what they put on there. All right, K.
Anybody starting a YouTube channel, create a new account.
That's his new record.
Hold on, why is that though?
All right, so we
because if you already have uploaded videos, you're gonna have to delete them or put them on private. So it'd be better just to start a fresh channel. You want to make sure that your email account associated with that account is private. So of course it's private now, but when I started, probably everybody had that email address, which is not the best for your account safety.
I think we're picking up some of your background. Yeah.
Where you here?
I don't know. It's like a fan or
vacuum?
air condition. Probably vacuum, air conditioner or something. All right. So I think we on UK. So we got the question for E. All right. So Ellis currently has music streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, just to name a few streaming sites. How many albums do he currently have streaming on Apple Music?
Many albums?
It's a multiple choice one.
Okay.
So A1, B2, C3. How many albums do Ellis currently have streaming on Apple Music?
Like whole albums?
Yes.
I want to say 2.
You are correct. Okay. He currently have 25 Summers and Reflections currently streaming on Apple Music, which leads me to my next question for E. What any projects coming out that you working on that to up that album? Any albums you working on? Any projects you working on? Any singles?
Well, I mean, I got a lot of. I actually got a whole pop album that's done, and that's like wrapped up in like a whole bunch of paperwork. So that's probably not going to come out no time soon. I do have a lot of like individual songs that I've worked on, but right now I think my focus is really trying to do a timepiece. Like, meaning, like, me now, kind of like, I think I have a lot of, like, new perspectives on things that I kind of want to, put out and just kind of, like, trying to, like, brainstorm ideas for what that sounds like for a 35-year-old E. Foster, you know what I'm saying? So that's like, beat selection. That's content that's like, I got a son now, so how do I incorporate that? I got a wife now, how do I incorporate that? I got a daughter, how do I incorporate that? So like sound wise, that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I just haven't figured out what that sounds like on paper or in your ears. So I'm trying to do like a little 4-4-4 type of album. So that's what I'm brainstorming now.
So right now, K got the lead 2-1 with the lead. So I mean, I don't know if y'all who gave this nigga an opportunity. T-shirt is still up for grabs. So I had some tiebreaker questions because I was originally gonna give y'all 2 apiece, but now we're gonna slide into the tiebreaker questions about your boy. Y'all know I'm big on traveling, so let's see if y'all. So y'all know. So this is a question for y'all. I'm gonna let K go first since he's in the lead. So I'll travel to all these places.
Because how was the tiebreaker?
I'm going to ask, I got 3 more questions. You can catch up in those 3. I'll make the last one 2 points. I'll make the last one 2 points. All right. I've recently, or over the past years, traveled to all these places except A, London, B, Amsterdam, C, Italy, D, Wales. I traveled to all these places except for
Amsterdam. I've been to all these places.
You are incorrect. The only place I haven't been is Wales. All right, question on you, E. You could tie it right here. What was the 3 colleges mascots that I attended? What was the 3 mascots of the 3 colleges I attended?
You went to Morgan State. That's a bear. You went. All right. You went to UDC, and that was a Firebird. And then you went to Dean.
Okay.
That was a bulldog.
Yeah, that's correct. So I ain't gonna lie, this is not much of a flex because
you couldn't stay in school.
The reason why I was a journeyman, I did start out at Morgan State. My GPA was a 1.7.
Yo, had my jersey number.
Yo, my GPA was a 1.7. Yo, I knew I messed up when Mom. You know how big Mom was with school growing up. When she came to me, she was like, a 1.7? School not for everybody. That's when I knew I was messed up. I said, damn, my own mama told me quit, give up. My own mama told me, you don't need to be in school no more. So that's what I knew. I was like, all right, I got get my life together, and I went to Dean College. Shout out to Dean, man. They, that was my second chance U. I went there. I ended up getting a Division II scholarship for lacrosse and playing football and lacrosse up Dean. So that was like my second chance U. But yeah, man, I had that 1.7. She was like, "What?
For people who's in high school about to transition into college, what would be some things what advice you would give them going into college? Is some things that some pitfalls that you want to avoid?
One of my big things I always tell like some of the kids is being where your feet are. Often when you in school, you don't realize that like that drink come to a close. So you gotta kind of be where your feet are and focus on getting your grades together because even coming out of high school, I didn't know as much that I needed to know for NCAA clearinghouse. That drink was a whole different beast. And around the time when we was in high school, they made 60 passing. But when you passing with 60s, NCAA clearinghouse, dude, your GPA suffer, and then the NCAA don't accept those as core classes. So you got to get a 70 or better in your courses in high school in order to pass NCAA clearinghouse. And that went into a lot of reasons why I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to be playing these sports, but I'm ineligible. So now I'm just going to go and party. And it was like my first time being out the house and getting a refund check. So all these different things is you got to be smart about is definitely being where your feet are, making sure you're locked in to get those grades, at least a 70 or better, at least, just so you can, you eligible to play, because that kind of, I didn't take that stuff seriously. I was just like, oh man, I'm just going to college. My thing reset. But whole time your SAT and some of those core courses that you take in high school follows you into the college.
Yeah, that's absolutely funny. This leading into like one of them stories I don't even think y'all know about. My advice is, if you have the opportunity, you have the chance to go out of state to school, do it. Because that's one of my regrets is I never went out of state to school. And I had the opportunity. Y'all don't know this. I had got a scholarship to this school in Waterbury, Connecticut.
What was the name of the school?
It was called Tokyo Post. Never heard of the school before. Have no idea how to coach even. Because back then, I ain't going to say there wasn't internet, but I wasn't on the internet. So I had no idea how to coach even knew anything about me. And this probably was, I don't know, D3 probably, D2, D3, or whatever it was.
I didn't either.
Information, They sent me all this information. And first of all, my grades wasn't good either. But the only thing that saved me was I got a good grade on the SAT. So they sent me all this literature from the baseball team. The coach was sending me like this big packet of like the team media guide and all this. And this is stupid of me now, but I opened it up. I was flipping through all the pages. Then I was like, hold up. Went to the website, went on the website, was flipping through the website. I ain't seen not one black person in nowhere on the website and nowhere in none of the literature they sent me. And that's why I decided, nah, I'm not going.
That might not have been a bad decision. Yo, that lead me to a question, Phil. Because when he said that, what was the difference, good and bad? Give me like the good and bad, because you went from a HBCU to a prep school in Massachusetts to a more diverse school in UDC and DC. So what was those pros and cons to going to those three different types of universities?
Now, the pros, like you said, going to those three different schools, you get the diversity part of it. You know, I pretty much had like conversations with all different walks of life, and it kind of helped me in my professional career today, being able to relate to so many different people, whether they play football, lacrosse, whether they dancers, whether they Asian, whether they Hispanic, any type of race or walk of life, I'm able to kind of relate to and have a conversation with. Because I think I told you this story, E, back when, you know, when I was in school in Massachusetts, we driving 8.5 hours away. So often when we used to have like Thanksgivings and stuff like that, I was out there for 2 years. I would stay out there for Thanksgiving with the international kids. And it was funny because when all the people that I hung out with, like people on the football team or people on the lacrosse team, when I was out at Dean, they was going home for school break, and I'd be up there with the kids from Tokyo, Japan, all them kids. So I'm chilling with them during the winter and the Thanksgiving break. And when everybody would come back, I would be walking across campus. They'd be like, "What's up, cousin? What's up, cousin?" So they used to call me cousin. All the Asian people used to call me cousin. So people used to be looking at me like, "Yo, how the hell you know all these people?" And it was because like going to those different schools like made me understand that it was a bigger culture. Like Kay said, as one of his regrets of not leaving Maryland, if I wouldn't have left, I probably wouldn't have had those experiences and met some of those cool people, because you know they ended up at Dean. But then the next year I was like, "Hey, what school you going to next year?" They was going to University of Southern Cal. They was going to Princeton. They was going to some really pretty good prestigious schools, some Ivy League schools. And it was cool to be in those classes and being able to spend like 2 weeks just chilling with them, eating food. They was giving me like seaweed chips. I'm trying all different types of stuff up there. And so that was one of the pros. I'm gonna say like the you said like a con of going to all those schools.
The con of going to each one
the
of
con
them. Let me simplify.
Con of going to
What's
each
better, HBCU or WPI?
Trying to get me in trouble. Y'all trying to get me in trouble. Trying to get me in trouble.
For real though, like
you just stay here. I gotta live here.
No, for real though, like what's better, HBCUs or WPI?
All right, I'm gonna say this. What's better? They different, bro. They both good in different ways, right? Because at the WPI, you kind of forced to kind of be shaped into their way of life. You probably know by going to URI. They got different festivities than the HBCUs. But the HBCUs got a little bit more ingrained in like the different culture of it, where like you get to see fraternities and sororities. You get to see the different sports teams. You get to see their homecomings, like the homecomings for a PWI and a HBCU look very much like different in a sense in terms of like the different festivities and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say which one. I couldn't say which one is better, to be honest. But I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't rob my experience missing either one, to be honest. Like I needed both of them joints to be who I am today.
Yeah, I'm.
But I will say going to a commuter school, because the University of DC, not to leave them out, it was more of a commuter school vibe. But you were able to build different relationships with the people in like the athletic department, and I also did film up there, so it was cool to do like a lot of student films and have everybody in that city. Because that, in my opinion, that was probably the best location. If I had to give it a rating,
I don't know. I don't have a popular opinion on that.
Yeah, because you went to three. You did a 3-peat too.
But I went to predominantly white schools, and it gave me I don't know. I have a weird I don't know.
Yeah, because you went from Rhode Island to West Virginia.
West Virginia was
Nigga, is you.
West Virginia was way crazier, but like I don't know, yo, it's that feeling like you didn't get to like HBCUs make you feel like you didn't get to sit in the back of the bus with all the cool kids, but you sat closer to the front to get to talk to the teacher, and like the next tomorrow's assignment. If you get what I'm saying. So you miss all like the cool stuff that happened in the back of the bus, but you sat in the front of the bus and learned all of like the stuff that you didn't know you was gonna have to know as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you go to a WPI like Rhode Island, yo, you step on campus and you automatically displaced. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you got a welcome committee all the black kids over here have a good time. But like it's not like it's like they put you in this environment where one is controlled and it's controlled not for the people that look like you. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have to have like a I don't know, bro. You had to kind of learn on the fly on trying to figure out how to, and this might sound crazy, bro. Like at that age, at 17, 18 years old, like you had to figure out how to talk to white people. Like, and you don't think that's a thing, but then you be like, I don't even know what to say. Like I don't know what to say to these people. Like because it's like, let me tell you this quick story because it kind of. It's because it's weird because this is when you figure out like damn you are a product of your environment and you kind of programmed to think a certain way. So like our first day on campus, our first night on campus, mind you, in WPIs ain't no it's co-ed. So it's not like the boys dorm and the girls dorm. The boys and the girls are living together. That already throw you off.
Right.
Like you got boys and girls living on the same floor. Like okay, boom. So but I'm with my homeboy, one of my teammates. He from PA. My man Ali, black dude. His name is Ali Muhammad. Crazy name though. But one thing I realized about him, he had that button where he can do both. Like he could talk to us with the hip hop and all that, just the good as anybody. But then he could have that button where he could just like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's your name? Hey, what's your name? Beautiful. Like he talked to the white girls like it was like it was nothing. He had that first day, everybody's doors open, everybody playing Madden in their room or playing their music. You walking past every room, the girls got that little lights hung up. Their rooms always look nicer than the dudes' lights, and the dudes' rooms. They got the snacks, they got the boom, boom, boom. But like when you see that, bro, and you just your brain shut down and you feel like you gotta go into like a mute, like you go to mute, like now you in like you just in the observe mode. Yeah,
you just observing that.
Yo, this is a problem. This is a problem, bro. Like I was programmed not to even know how to talk to these like that was crazy to me. So it's like,
you ain't the only
I don't
one.
know if people like ever like experience that, but when you go to the HBCUs or you go to like one of the homecoming joints, it's like it's cool, but you still don't feel accepted because you went to WPIs because it's like that's just extra super aggressive. If you think about it, if you've gone to them things before, they just like super like you don't understand that either. Then like yo, hold up, these black people, bro. Why I feel like I don't know what they got going on over here. Yeah, now I'm out of place over here because they don't do that over there. It's like
nah, for real.
Yo, it's weird, bro. It's weird. I don't even know how to put it into words how weird it is. Like, because once you kind of cross that barrier and you feel like you just as normal as everybody else, and you can add to WPI just like anybody else, then you kind of build a confidence about yourself. Like, I don't care what nobody say. These, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what no one say. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm from this place. You ain't gonna make me feel ashamed of myself or who I am. So that's like a confidence that you get off the rip when you figure it out. But then you say like, do the people at HBCUs just feel like I'm myself because I'm comfortable? I don't have to change,
right?
Because I'm just me.
But that's the weird. And that's the weird dynamic, right? Like you said, the diversity and the different people going to a PWI opposed to a HBCU. But when you go to a HBCU, it's also some divide in that culture as well. Where though you have like fraternities, different sororities. Not only that, you go into an extra dynamic of people perception of where different people are from. So you might have people from New York, you might have people from DC, you got people from Baltimore, of course. Mm-hmm. You might have people from Jersey, Philly. They all already have their cliques, so they kind of gravitate towards each other. So then they got to accept those differences. And then you also have that that dynamic with athletes, and then you got the different teams, and then you got that dynamic with athletes versus the regular student. And some people could say athletes are privileged, and then some people say, so it's like all these
dynamics,
different dynamics of college, and that's why I'm glad I went to 3 different schools, because you can, like, I look at colleges as a micro society within itself. Sometimes when I was on college campus, I forgot I was even in a different, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you there at a campus so much and every day that it's like you are on a different plane of the world, if that makes sense. Because you walking around in like a micro, like a little micro ecosystem where you like, all right, where you don't have everything you need accessibility to, whether it's going to class, going to school, going to practice, going to get food. It's all in that one area, and you there for a good 6 to 8 months at a time. So it's like it's funny that you say that, because every no, he like said. He said it's like,
it is in a sense, bro, because you realize when you go to your WPI, you this is the first time you realize you are a person who didn't have a lot, or you didn't have a lot, because you gotta understand, when you go to the WPI, this school was designed with you not in mind. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think 60 years ago they wasn't expecting you to come to this school. Nor did they want you to come to this school. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think all the privileges. That's what I learned. I met him. I met privilege. I met what that looked like. Yo, because when you got to go into a place and you like, I can have this? You really feel like you come from like a real barbaric background when you feel like the norm to them is like luxury to you. And that's like an eye-opening thing, like, where you feel like they have more. You know, they have an advantage. It's the first time you see it in person. Like, you'll see it, like, even when them party weekends on URI campus, when all the white girls are like hopping out the car with the same dress on, like they all hopping out the car and they all drunk, and then the cops was like, "You need to ride home." And be like, "Hold up, what? You ain't gonna arrest her?" like she public intoxicated. Arrest her. So like, just me thinking like, hold up, where I'm from, they would have Bacarded you, or like try to figure out where your parent. Bro, it's like a mind switch that you gotta have, where it's like, but then you gotta still stay dangerous at a sense. Like, all right, yo, you ain't one of them, bro. Like, you still gotta walk that line. Like, you might be at WPI. It's like, I'm black and I'm an athlete, so it's almost, you got a target on your back. So it's like almost worse. So it's I don't know, man. I ain't go to a HBCU. I don't know how I would have functioned, but like, I know how I had to switch my brain the way I moved at a WPI, and it almost kind of took me back in a time machine. I almost felt like I was in the 1950s a little bit.
No, but I'm not going to lie. Even when I was looking at colleges, I strategically didn't want to go down south. And part of that reason is because, like, growing up in the city, when you learn about the different history, you like, yo, nothing good. You got sundown towns and stuff like that. I don't need to be nowhere near them joints. And even going to Massachusetts, I ain't tell you I was all right, so we had an all-star game. So when in JUCO, if you like a sophomore at your school, you like a senior in a sense. So they have these like senior all-star combine games that me and my team went to. And I was driving with some of the depots named my man Dirk Marshall. And we had some guys with us, and we was driving. And that's when I kind of seen some of the their reactions to getting pulled over by the police. Cause I'm thinking like, bro, I'm done. Like, I'm done. But he was driving, and he had like a different like tone. Yeah. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to go home. Like, I don't want to call pops from the prison up in Massachusetts for real. But dude just let us off with a warning. So I was like, oh, snap. Like, that was my first time seeing something like that. Like, how dare you?
Bro, that's like the most amazing, bro. I see a lot of shit in my life, bro. Watching a white dude talk back to a cop is amazing. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what? You're a fucking asshole. You're a goddamn asshole. I'm looking like damn.
Or just being like, I wasn't going that, or even just debating with him like, I wasn't going that fast. You sure? They had the cop unsure, like, you're right.
You know who my goddamn dad is? You know who my fucking dad is? I said, you gonna get us killed.
No boy. But it is. It's different. Sure. It's definitely different, because even if I brought some team members and some guys I used to hang out with out there, You'll see different stories, man. You'll see different stories of like how they was treated when they was pulled over. Some of them even had to spend a night in jail type shit. So, it's just lucky. It's just luck of the draw sometimes, but at the same time, bro, you do see how different people move at these different places. It's kind of eye opening.
Yeah. So back on the college thing, right? So the way that like the world is and how you experienced outside of college after you got out of school. If you had to go back, would you, not you personally, but like if you were giving advice to somebody, would you recommend everybody go to college?
Well, I recommend everybody go to college.
I recommend everybody go to college.
Why?
Surprisingly, bro. I'm
75-25.
I would say no.
I'm only 75-25. I go to school for free.
I say it had to be a pursuit of something.
And you can go to
if I go to school for free, that's different. Get a scholarship. That's the only way I'd be like, yeah, go.
Exactly. And that's what I said. Like, if your passion is in something that requires it, I would recommend it. Yeah, exactly. Like something in the medical field or something. Anywhere, or if you're looking at like, if you really chasing a dream like I was, or just playing like some type of professional sport or playing doing anything, I would recommend college. But the way of the world now, I feel like with training different with YouTube and getting certifications and stuff like that, you could possibly make just as much as a college grad, in my opinion. Even if I were to say going to recommend a trade school over some of them, but even with myself, I figured out because I started in electrical engineering, that could have contributed to me getting a 1.7. But I thought
you said what? Say that again?
Math and science in high school. I was electrical engineering at Morgan State. That was my major.
Yeah, that's why you got 1.7.
So then, look, I had to switch over to liberal studies when I got to Dean College, and then when I went to University of D.C., I was mass media communications. But it took me a journey to figure that out. But the only reason I was jumping from school to school is that I was chasing the athletics. So I mean, like you're saying, if your goal to make money, I would say you could go many different routes. But if you're chasing something that's real specific to a certain craft or skill set, I would recommend college for sure. But it's hard to give that a solid answer because kids don't really know what they want to do that early on at 18, 17 years old. You don't have an idea what you're still building your confidence and your knowledge about the world at that time.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like if you're 17, 18 and you don't know what you want to do and you're going to take and put yourself $100,000 in debt to go to school and you don't even know what you're going to school for.
Yeah.
That need to be something that you need to rethink.
The concept of college, you know what I'm saying? You might as well go to jail. You put your life on hold for 4 years. You put your life on hold for 4 years, not having no movement. Everybody probably who are not in school getting jobs and building work experience, and then on top of those 4 years that you're not moving, you building up debt. And then so when you get out of school, it's literally like when you get out of jail, you got to try to find out what you're going to do with your life to pay back society. like that's literally like what you're doing. So like it don't make sense to me to go to college in that aspect unless you become like a doctor, lawyer, when you probably can, make that back in like probably 10 years.
And the bad part is when you get out of college and get a job, the guy that went into the work field straight out of high school gonna be your boss.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what goes back to the conversation we was having on episode 1 about like is opportunity earned or given. In some cases, in certain fields, it's like sometimes you reach that ceiling where like I think the timing is the essence of certain stuff, right? Like if I started in the IT field in 2000, all the CompT, Security Plus, Network Plus, all that stuff wasn't even around yet. So I remember working at the residential foster care facility, and the leader person of our tech never went to school for tech. She kind of just was like in the computers coming out in the early 2000s, and as things start to roll out, she just did on-the-job training and gained that experience. So now, even though she didn't go the route of getting certifications and certain stuff, she had the time and aspect on her side where it really didn't matter if because these things in that field develops. Whereas though, like, would you trust somebody that didn't go to college to perform a surgery on you? Probably not.
Right.
So I think it's an industry timing thing, just based on how like society is rolling. Like if it makes sense for you or whatever you into it makes sense for you, then you could go. But like it was crazy because Dean was like a dance school, and I think more so people like you didn't go there so people could teach you how to dance. It's more so like you network because some of the professors there danced for like Alvin Ailey and was on Broadway and stuff like that. So some of the kids that was going to Dean College for dance, it made sense for them because they felt like they wanted to tap into that network to get those opportunities. But yeah, man, it's kind of not a right or wrong answer, but I would say lean into what you feel your purpose and your goals are personally.
Yeah, like I said, it's all right if you don't know what you don't want to do, to take some time, take a year and to think about it. And then when you out here in the world living and you say, I want to have one of these jobs that requires a degree. All right, then you can go back and after you get your plan together. But it's just a big decision for a 17, 18-year-old to be able to make.
Figure out what they're going to do for 100K in the next 5. How they going to make 100K back in 5 years? That's a lot to think about. But yeah, you was on your question. What was up?
So we tied up, man. This next one, man. This is the last question. This is for the T. Who gave this nigga opportunity? That's my favorite quote from the last show. but all right, dang, how much? All right, so hold on, yo,
that wasn't even
that was a BTS.
That was.
But that was a behind the scenes
footage.
But yeah, man, as a designer, I think that joint is dope. So all right, this one, I think I'm gonna need y'all to take out y'all phones, and enter into our chat, the chat we got together, and whoever comes first, whoever answer this.
What you just said?
No diddy. Whoever send the answer through first, they win the one of one from the Crib Podcast custom tee by your boy Philly Cash as a winner to wear on next show. All right, so y'all ready? Y'all got the chat open? Y'all ready to type? So what two-time MVP shares the same birthday as Phil? What two-time MVP shares the same birthday as Phil? Kendrick pulled out with the nose win, with the W. Okay, this will be hand delivered to you sometime this week. I'll connect with you. Yeah, he's the people's champ, man.
I ain't been that guy that win the T.
You know, that's you know, LeBron James a Capricorn too. You could have said him, but he don't share the same birthday. But you know, I throw him in there. I was gonna make it multiple choice, but I didn't want to make it so obvious.
Was that the Glazer week?
So, not the Glazer.
He got my birthday.
All right, yo.
That's my birthday twin.
What's good, twin? All right, so this goes in.
Hold on. Talk about Lamar, right, real quick.
Yes, it's a good transition right here.
What y'all think about him being on the, what's that, Power?
That episode came out already?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think it's kind of hard, though. I want to see him act, though.
You think he know how to act, though, for real?
You say you think, do we think he know how to act?
Yeah. Or he just going to be Lamar up there.
Bro, but that's going to be the cool part about it. Because if I had to choose, that's why I want to see it. If I had a show, if I was producing a show, simple like how 50 got his shows popping off, and I wanted to get an athlete on there to bring up viewership, I'm pulling Lamar, man. He don't got no type of, and this is like something uncharacteristic that we ever seen from Lamar Jackson to be on the show. And then just based on some of the images that they got from filming, it looked like he in the role, in character, right?
That's funny.
Yeah, and look, I'm somebody that has never watched that show, but I'm gonna watch that.
No, for sure.
You know it's gonna hit.
Yeah, I got to watch it. He looked like he about to be.
It's gonna hit YouTube right when as soon as that episode go off, it's gonna be on YouTube or on Instagram somewhere.
Right. You know the clips are gonna be popping off, but Lamar looked like he about to be the new Marlo Stanfield on that joint.
That's funny as heck.
Man, that's going to be funny, though.
But that's an interesting dynamic, yo, because even just speaking of, like, all the Raven players, right? And thinking of the Ravens players, some of the Ravens players, they got the look of people from Baltimore. Like, you could see some of the Ravens players being casted on a wire. Like just on base, like, you always got that pastor-like character, like a Ray Lewis. So you always got, like, a dude that look like he talented, but he a little reckless. Like that, Lamar Jackson got that
even
look.
John Harbaugh, you're like somebody cool English teacher that was at Northern.
Right.
Coach John, Mr. John.
Coach John. That's how I used to think. That's how I used to look at Calais Campbell when he was on the squad. Like, he just looked like that inspiring hood nigga from the block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dude you might run across in the barbershop.
Yeah. So what we got?
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm definitely gonna be tuned into that.
Yeah, we definitely gotta check that out. We definitely gotta speak on that once those let's see how he do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Kendrick, man, you the first winner of Good Brother. But this brings me into my next topic, which is our next topic, which is the idea around sibling psychology. So sibling psychology, right? It explores how relationships with brothers and sisters shape a child's social emotional development, influencing their social skills, conflict resolution, and overall well-being as an adult. So my question for y'all, like, what dynamics you think like kind of assist you in your everyday life with like being a sibling? Like, what being a sibling, because I know K the oldest, LSU middle, I'm the youngest. What are those dynamics and how do they influence your views of the world?
Man,
I know it's a loaded question.
You ask some philosophical questions and shit.
Yeah, I had to go with the philosophical because I was thinking this. All right, this is just the reason why I brought this topic today, yo. I was thinking about this the other day, right? So this is going to go into our later topic that we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about Just Hilarious and the Breakfast Club incident, right? But just to bring it full circle, I was thinking, like, what did Kendrick think about when he spent the first 6 to 7 years by himself, and then Ellis came along? I'm sure he was like, who is this nigga? And then to have me born like a day after his birthday, I'm pretty sure like he was like, who is this nigga? So I'm just like, I want to understand, like, y'all, because y'all been around as long as I've been alive. So how does that play a factor in y'all seeing how the family grew? You know what I mean? Being the originals.
First of all, I think being the only child is overhyped. I'm glad I didn't have to grow up my whole life as the only child, first of all. What I do remember, I know each one of y'all was supposed to be a girl. They wanted y'all to be a girl at least. I do remember that. And I remember when Phil was born was like right after my birthday. So I mean, that was so long ago. Like, of course, like I was excited. I mean, it was like, oh, a new baby here. It's not like, man, I'm not the only child no more. Like, you don't really be thinking about that, because at the time it was like, cause you just sitting in the house. Like, of course, y'all know I used to spend a lot of time with Tiger, so I was never really like by myself. But when I came home, I'm by myself. So that's why a lot of times I would go spend time with Tiger and Sherelle. I'd be around Richwood with Eric and them and hanging out over there or down at grandma's house. You know, and then, I was hanging out with Brandon up the street.
Yeah, up the street, yeah.
It was like, I was never like by myself, but then it was a whole new experience to have like a new baby in the house. But it was like, wasn't like I could play with y'all. It was just like, all right, it's a baby in here. But I mean, it wasn't like we going outside and playing or nothing like that. So it was just like I was at the age where we wasn't really that close in age like that. More so how you and Phil, y'all were a lot closer in age, so y'all kind of came up through. Like, I don't think we ever went to the same. I think maybe me and Ellis maybe went to the same school Guilford? At one time. But I don't think like
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe Guilford. Maybe Guilford.
But like, yeah, like other than that, like we were so far apart in age where it was like a lot of it. I feel like I was like an absentee deadbeat dad. Like when y'all grew up, because I was there, but I wasn't there for like the day to day. Like, of course, like I got my friends, and like the world is a lot different now. Like, you will rarely catch me in the house. Like, I'm out, like I said, we outside riding bikes. Like, it's not like the kids now that's in the house most of the time playing the game. Like, we was out. So it was like, it was different. Like, I think like the time that we really, really spent the most time together was like towards the end of like when I was about to move out. Like, so I guess like, I don't know how y'all was, but I was probably like 18, like when I was like 18, 19, and y'all was
13.
I'm guessing like in the start of your
probably. I think I was high school. Yeah,
so like around that time, but like before that, honestly, it felt like it was a blur for real.
I mean,
Like, what y'all remember at that time of like when I'm in high school, and I'm guessing y'all like in.
I know I remember. Shit. I mean, I remember a lot though. I remember a lot, but it didn't feel like what you said, like on some like absentee. What you say, absentee? Hey,
Yeah,
no,
he felt like a baby dad.
It just felt like since like with me being in the middle and Phil coming along, it's like I can never have my own shit. You know what I'm saying? like if like it's like for example, like on my birthday, when I get gifts, he had to get a gift on my birthday. So it's like, why he gotta get something? So it's like,
that's how that go.
And then even when it came, since we was like so close in age, it was like, why I can't get my own kind of shirt and he can get his own kind of shirt instead of getting the same shirt, different colors. So it's like,
different colors.
Like, we ain't twins, nigga. But nah, like, I don't know. I feel like us, like, you as an older brother, we kind of can like, we had stuff earlier than we were supposed to have it. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had the systems, you had the car, you had, you know what I'm saying, you had the cable, you had the TVs and the idea how like technology work and how to hook up like two TVs together so we could play split screen. So we was like more so on some like, yo, what Kendrick got? Let's yeah, like what Kendrick got.
Yeah,
we trying
real shit.
We trying to either see if he gonna let us indulge in what he indulging in, or we just had to wait for him to leave.
As soon as that door is shut, we in there.
But it's so funny though. It's so funny because now that like I have like a teenager in the house, and how Kedge used to lock his door all the time, we had to knock on the door like, Kedge, can we play? Kedge, can we come in? Like, it's so funny, yo, because that's kind of how like I remember that time, because it was like, we knew we was about to get something, like we was about to get into something, especially when we got old enough to actually like play the game together. That was like probably the funnest time where we actually kind of started indulging in like the game stuff. And that's kind of like how what me and Phil mostly did. Like, we just played video games, and I had to like, I couldn't wait for him to come along and actually be good at half of these games, because he's trash. He just started getting good. He just started getting good at shit. It's crazy, but like. That's pretty much kind of how like I remember all that stuff. Like, we just couldn't wait to see what you kind of bring in the house or stuff that you had. Even like I remember like when you used to make us buy your clothes out your closet with a deck of cards. So it's crazy because I just realized, and that's the thing, bro. Like Kendrick was like before your time, which like he was like, you came to our room with a deck of cards. Was like, hey y'all trying to buy these clothes out my closet? I'm like. We was like, hell yeah. And we in the club, we had like a deck of cards. We had like 4s, 5s, 6 kings, queens. He was like, what's the king's worth? He was like, that's $10. And I was like, all right, bet. So we going through his closet, picking out clothes like, Kendrick, can I get this? Kendrick look at it like, no, give me that. We was low key cleaning this man's closet, bro. And then by the time that he was like, nah, you can't have that. Put that over there. He hold it up. He look at it like, hey, give me that. So by the end of the night, we got 2 big ass bags of clothes in our room. We can't even fit and wear to school. But that's like kind of how we kind of looked at it. We just couldn't wait to get in your room and see what he was doing, see what he was about to do, see what games yo had. That's how I remember for the most part, like being in the middle, and then I just remember Phil just getting everything I got, and that shit was annoying.
Oh yeah, he get a blue sweatsuit, I get red sweatsuit.
What y'all remember about Brandon?
They used to stutter,
man. Yo, man, but he was always like cool, man. Like, he was always cool. Like, I feel like I never seen him like really mad. You know what I mean? Like, he always had like a good up tempo like energy about him. Like, every time he tells stories and he was mad, like cool. I just remember him being cool. And being a little brother, you always like the annoying. I'ma break something. Like, don't let what hell. Like, growing up when you're the youngest, it's like he gonna lose it or he gonna break that joint. So like even just having those relationships with some of y'all older friends that was like, oh yeah, he little brother, but they'd still be like still cool and talking to me. But that's what I remember about him.
For the listeners,
Yeah, I
for the
think I ran
listeners,
into him for the most.
tell the listeners who Brandon was.
Yeah.
So when we first moved, and I remember when we first moved around there, I don't know if y'all ever seen this tape. I doubt if they still have it, but when we first moved into that house,
Yup, Channel 13.
we were on the news.
I remember that.
I think it was like
WJZ.
Channel 13 News, right? What I remember is, like one of the first days we moved in, we walking up to the house. We walking into this brand new house, walking up the street, and I see another little boy that's like my same age, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what? I think I'm like 5 or 6 years old when we moved in this house, and it's like another little boy, same age, 3 houses up. His mother called me up. He's like, "Hey, this is Brandon. This is Ketchup. Y'all going to be neighbors now."
It's crazy.
And like we literally be outside playing literally every day. He was like one of the first people that got me into like the entrepreneur mind, because we used to go door to door and sell tickets to the neighbors so they can watch us race our big wheels.
Yo, what?
Like, hey, we about to have a big wheel race. Tickets $2. The race going on. Yes. The neighbors used to give us money and shit. We used to,
For real? What the hell?
we used to race our big wheels down the street or whatever. So it was like, ever since then, like we was every day damn near outside playing baseball, basketball. We used to, nail. Remember, I don't know if y'all remember, we used to nail the crate up on the pole across the street, play basketball. Yeah. At one point, he had a basketball hoop in his backyard, so it was like every day from 5 years old all the way up to whenever I moved out the house. We was like tight like that. Playing every day.
I ain't never knew that. That's
I never knew that either.
Concept. Like, yo, like this thinking outside the box. Hey, yo, you want to come to this race?
Yeah,
selling tickets.
The adults looking at us like, hey, take this $1, take this $2.
I got $2 for you.
And
I ain't go to the bank today.
Corner store down the street off of Cold Spring.
Yeah.
Spend the money.
And growing up,
see, that's back then. You could get 4 chips for 20. You could get 4 chips with $1.
Yep, 5 cent,
5 cent fruit,
and that was a good block, yo. That was like a slept on block, like, because I even made money like taking Miss Val trash out every morning before school. She'd give me $5 to take her trash out, like, and then or another $5 to change the litter box.
Yeah, shoveling snow, all types of stuff used to be the grind.
It said Ellis thing stop recording.
Oh, we gotta wait till it go back up.
Yeah, he must got to reconnect or something. Or maybe his thing died.
But that was a slept-on neighborhood, though. Yeah. But that's the interesting thing about community, bro. It's like, do you think that's still like the same like dynamics? Like, do you think people are as like? I feel like as time went on, everybody is like really secluded. Like they don't like.
I feel the kids don't go outside. Like I'm actually a little bit. Even though I'll still be nervous about it. Like I'm excited that now Caleb is coming home from school and asking to go outside. Even though it still kind of make me nervous because I was like, go ahead, but come back in 30 minutes. Knowing like when I was his age, I'd be gone out until the sun come back. Till the sun come back.
Right.
But I mean, I guess it's a different world. People a little bit more crazy out here now, so you can't be too forgiving just letting your kids out wandering around.
But yo, in the sense, I think it's crazy that people. I feel like in the past, this might be sound crazy, but I think this is the safest the world has ever been.
Absolutely.
And the reason why and then you got some feedback. Oh, Kendrick battery guy. Dang, y'all both blacked out.
Batteries.
Dang, y'all having tech issues like I was having on episode 1.
That's why we only can do our shows. Our cameras don't last long.
I switched the angles.
Cameras only last an hour. Dang, see, I feel like the show would go longer if we did like stuff like that.
So, y'all go change. We already did like shows this tonight. Go change your outfits.
We just gotta, unless we still had like.
Yeah, we gotta figure out how to edit. With the full joint.
No, that's hard. I think we need to start making those.
You bang with the shirt though?
We gotta make those joints.
I was like, yo, how can I put? And it's not even really black. It's like a off.
That's really legit too.
It got like that. Like that different material.
That's funny as hell.
It's like an opportunity shirt.
The logo is hard
with the little chest logo on it. I'll bang with it, and it's a good quality.
Yeah, extra large.
This is a 2X.
Ben, you think?
Tell y'all fit 3X.
Any big size, extra large. A 2X is huge.
Yeah, what you mean? Why y'all say y'all couldn't fit it? It's like one of them oversized shirts. It's cut different. It's like one of them joints you could wear like Like them oversized shirts.
What camera you using, Cat?
Same one.
Well, I need a second battery.
You just switch the battery out? Oh, yeah, I got a second battery, too. Yo, what you need to invest in is an extended charging cord for your camera. That's what I had to plug into.
Where were we at? Talking about...
Yeah, so I was saying that the world is the safest it's ever been. And the reason why I say that is because we so connected. It seemed like the world is bad because the news is kind of flooded with a lot of the information. And I just think it's safer because it's cameras everywhere. It's like not too many people getting away with these crimes and stuff like that. And even when I look at some of the like historical like mass like serial killers and stuff like that, these dudes was on a run. Like they was going state to state. Nobody could find them. It was like too much word of mouth. They was like, they can go to another place and just change their name and they would just think they're a whole different person. That could not, some of the stuff they was getting away with in the past would not fly today.
Shit, do y'all remember the DC sniper?
Hell yeah.
I was working then, and I was working for Comcast where I had to go up on poles and shit. Like,
like this.
You talk about paranoid, bruh.
See you, nigga.
Right. And they couldn't find his ass for nothing.
Yeah, bro. And that was a crazy time. Because you know I don't know how it was where y'all grew up, but when we used to play outside, we'd be like, we'll see something like a white van, or you'll just see a car driving past, and then it'd just be a reason to run. When we was younger, like you'd be like, oh shit, it's a drive-by, and then you just run. So we was doing stuff like that around that time. So having that was kind of crazy, especially them going on like, and then they started mapping out like the different locations when people was getting hit up, and it seemed like it was just getting closer and closer to where we was at.
So let me ask y'all this question, talking about like our neighborhood when we were growing up. Like, I guess this must have been like around a time where I was probably either in high school or maybe even moved out the house already, but like, what was y'all relationship with, like, the people in the neighborhood? Because I know, like, for the most part, a lot of them y'all probably didn't go to school with, because a lot of the schools y'all went to weren't particularly, like, in the zone or, like, zone area schools. So, like, what was y'all relationship with, like, the people that y'all grew up around? Because I remember the one kid, Ronald, y'all used to play with. But other than that,
I mean, we didn't, like,
really recall y'all.
It wasn't, like, a lot of times where we would hang out on some, like go to the movies or go to the mall. I don't think we had built those types of relationships, but I think we had built a relationship or like, yo, these the brothers that's nice at football. These are brothers that, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the times, the K brothers, they'll knock on our doors to be additional to a team that they tried to pick up a pickup game at the park. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need 2 more players. Yeah, yo, y'all trying to play? Like, so it was like more so like relationship, respect. Hey, yo, y'all good, and this is I know this is what y'all gonna be doing. I felt like it was a respect from like either the older all the way down to the kids our age that were like, yeah, these the athletes that's gonna be doing that, gonna be doing this sometime down the line. It's gonna make them who they is. And I think it was kind of that respect, and we never had no like issues in the neighborhood as far as like beef or fighting, like stuff like that, because they kind of knew what we was about, and we just was just like athletes, and they kind of treated us as such. But like, it was always like that, like Antoine and Rodney and Sig and like all of them, we all kind of Nico, you know what I'm saying? All of them kind of was mutual respect off of like some sports shit, and they just knew that we was never on nothing else.
And we went, and
I think that's kind of how we kind of maneuver around the neighborhood for real.
Yeah. And then to add to that dynamic, I mean, myself, I hung out and I know a lot of the dudes in the neighborhood because I went to Guilford up until middle school. So a lot of those, you're right, a lot of the kids when we got to high school, they did go to some of like they might have went to Reginald F. Lewis at the time, or Lake or Mervo or something like that. But like, we remember like in the fall, like early fall, like when we used to get out of school, we would go to practice. So we would get out of school at like 2:40, and that for me that started at 8 years old because I didn't start playing contact football, any type of organized sports until 8. Getting out of school at like 2:30, you come home, you might eat something, might take a nap, but then you right back up at like 4:35, getting ready for practice. Go to practice till like 7, 8 at night. Then you do your homework and go to bed. So that's lasts like the whole fall. So sometimes the whole time I used to go out and hang out with him, it'd be like in the spring, sometimes summertime. But even around then, we was just like Ellis said, like we was more, I kind of felt like I was really no nonsense and unintentionally, because like all the other stuff I ain't really care about. Like, I would just like to play sports, ride my bike. If we wasn't playing nothing, I'd go back in the house and play my game.
But hanging out
outside for no reason wasn't really my thing.
We was playing football to the night, or we couldn't see the ball no more, or like stuff like that. Like just playing sports around the neighborhood at like by any means. And I feel like, that's kind of crazy when you think about it, because if you think about it, if you ever did Google Maps and then you look at like Oakland or you look at York Road and you zoom in and then you zoom out and you just a little speck and it's a big ass city where everything looked the same. And it's crazy to go as far as we went to come from that little piece of land of Willow Park. And it's crazy to think, because you see like all these other kids that come from like maybe from the county that probably had track to run around and fields to run on and football fields to run and train on. I remember getting ready for my college camp, and I'm running around Willow Park. So I'm running in the alley with glass and trash cans coming down the street and then coming back down the other street when it's a hill where you feel like you running fast, but it's just a hill. And then you running up our hill back into the alley. So like running around that 10 times, like just trying to get in shape for something that's bigger than what you ever could imagine. Like playing in front of playing from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night when the yellow lights come on. So now playing at Delaware where Joe Flacco is at in front of 7,000 people. It's kind of crazy to think about, because all we was doing in that neighborhood was just playing football, bro. And just like, that's what we just love to do. And just to see how just that repetition of just playing on concrete transitioned to us playing on ESPN. So I just think that's like a crazy like kind of concept of like people, when you be hearing people talk on like shows and be like, what did you do? What did you do to be where you are? It's like a crazy concept to think about when you go from concrete to that stage, and just the regular things that was regular to you get you to a certain point.
Yeah, because we didn't realize it, but we was like really training and doing different stuff that kind of translated to the field. Because I even remember in my senior year when we used to play football 1-on-1. We used to play 1-on-1 football against each other, and then we used to use the concrete, like the cement that was separated the grass, as our first downs. So we used to like tackle, and looking back at it when I pull up to the house, I'm like, dang, we really used to be out here playing football, tackling by the concrete, playing sideline boom on a, like if anywhere we found grass, we was playing football. And even driving around the city, it's like, yo, I played on this, I caught a pass on that field. It's kind of crazy, and we didn't realize it, but we was doing a lot of training. Like I remember we used to practice like without lacrosse sticks out front and shooting at the gate, like just practicing like stuff like that. And that translated to like
just even like
a topic. All right, let's get into it. Let me ask y'all a quick question about some football stuff, man. I always like to give a sports topic, man. Come on now. So if you Eric DeCosta, right, you wanted to reunite with some of the current free agents that was former Ravens, I'm gonna give y'all a list. So let me know who y'all think, if y'all had a top 3, who would y'all approach if y'all was Eric DeCosta and the current former Ravens that are currently free agents? The list goes, you got C.J. Mosley, you got J.K. Dobbins, you got Rock Ya-Sin, you got Gus Edwards, you got Zadarius Smith, Tony Jefferson, Matt Judon, I believe Joe Flacco had just got signed, Chuck Clark, Calais Campbell, Hayden Hurst, James Prochet, and Tyler Huntley. Of those names, who pop out as, if you Eric DeCosta, that you would go pursue as one of the former Ravens that's free agents?
Me, I'm definitely going at Judon. That's a no-brainer for me.
And that kind of add to what we talking about Cooper Rush. I'm surprised they didn't bring Tyler Huntley back, because when you go sign a backup, you want them to at least have some similarities to your starter.
I don't think they really like Tyler.
I think they just keep him on the roster. They had a relationship. Keep him in a room.
With
Lamar happy. I think he had that running aspect to him, but I feel like when he got in, we had a limited playbook with him. And I just me being a quarterback, I hate his release and his throwing motion. Me personally, if I was
if you was Eric DeCosta, give me one offense and one defense.
That big presence in the middle. Once again, you can't replace size. You can't teach size. You can't replace it. On the offensive side, I'll bring Gus.
I'll give you the list again if you need
just
it.
to give us another power element. I think at Derek Henry being at his age, I think always taking a little bit off his plate is always a good thing, just to keep him longer, keep him fresher. Because I don't think, even though Hill and Mitchell are good players, our offense is not really geared to having speedy backs. I think we keep Gus, we can stay with that same formula. It's kind of like, ground and pound, throw the rock, and we don't have to really switch up anything and have to change too much in our play calling.
What about you, Kay? I know you gave me a defense, but what about offensively?
Who's the options again?
We got J.K. Dobbins, you got Gus Edwards, you got Joe Flacco, Hayden Hurst, James Prochet, Tyler Huntley. Are those who would be on your board just to bring back or just entertain to bring back?
I would entertain bringing back Hayden Hurst only because I would entertain Trey and Mark Andrews.
That's interesting. For me, I would say I would get Matt Judon for defense. No, actually, I would go another way. I would get C.J. Mosley back for defense, and I would say J.K. I think that would be another a complete back because you already got all.
You can't stay healthy.
But you're not asking him to be a bell cow.
It don't even matter. All it takes is one hit and you down the backup running back. Not to mention, if I had to pick between J.K. and Gus, I'm going Gus just because he's another Derrick Henry. You already got Keaton Mitchell and you already got Justice Hill, which is your more shifty type running backs. You don't need another one just in a similar build as J.K. But if you want to get some, God forbid, is Derrick Henry was to go down for a couple games, then Gus can fill in for that role.
Yeah, I think I could agree with you actually on that.
Easy.
You could run a team down into the ground with them two.
Yeah.
Even though, to me, when he was with the Chargers, he looked like he kind of lost a little bit of weight. Like he like a finesse. I don't know if it's maybe been the jersey or something, or like the color of the jerseys or something, but he looked a little less like he kind of dropped some pounds and kind of tried to go into a finesse back.
You know how people be. You know how players be. He probably was like, oh, I'm going to this new team. I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to do, like, he probably thought his role was going to be something different than what it ended up being. So, of course, he got his body in that condition where he thought he was going to be getting a lot more carries than he did. Because you got to think about it. If you are back that's getting 20 carries a game, those heavier backs, that's putting a extra toll on your body. So that's why he probably tried to cut a little bit of weight just because he thought he was going to have a larger load than he ended up having.
Well, any other topics y'all wanted to discuss, or do y'all want to slide into the Just Hilarious with the Breakfast Club?
What's up to y'all?
Y'all familiar with that? All right, I'll give an introduction to it. So in a nutshell, Just Hilarious joined the Breakfast Club in the early 2024. She had to leave she had maternity leave and returned in November. But while she was out, a co-producer, Lauren LaRosa, joined the show in Jess' place. She was taking over some of her segments, Just with the Mess, and also speaking on different topics. Upon Jess' return, she secured the role as the fourth host, along with DJ Envy, Charlemagne, and Just Hilarious as well, which caused some conflict between the show dynamics and different segment placement. And recently, Just Hilarious expressed her frustration, saying the show dynamics has been weird and that the co-host that didn't have her back when the show was making these adjustments. So what do y'all think? Like, do y'all think she handled that situation professionally, or y'all think she could have probably handled it better? Like, what you guys think about that?
Yeah, of course, something like that, you gotta handle that behind closed doors, because now if the dynamic was off, it's definitely going to be off now that you came out and said that, and people are going to be talking about it. So, I understand the frustration. You have a job and you come back and it's pretty much somebody taking your job. So I understand the frustration, but there got to be a different way to approach that outside.
I watched the Breakfast Club.
What about you, E?
And I feel like, I don't know if you remember when they had just lost Angela Yee, and they was having this when they was rotating hosts, and they were trying to see who was the best fit. I feel like the best just hilarious was when she was filling in and she was just kind of being herself and just like kind of making off the cuffs like comments and just being more like free when it came to her commentary. But to me now, I feel like she pays a lot of attention to comments, a lot of attention to what people are saying, to the point where she almost comes off as if she's trying a little bit too hard, as if she's trying to like, she gives me like you in a job interview and you trying to see everything right. Or you trying to just seem way more professional than you were naturally when you were actually funny on the show. So I think that now that she's seeing a lot more success that she's used to, I think for the show dynamic, it doesn't feel as genuine as it used to. Now that this happened, it even feels even less genuine because it just comes off like some people just can't deal with like a lot of people saying certain things in comments or just a level of success or just having success and then having people say negative things about you now. And you can kind of see it in her performances on the show. Even the way she asks questions, she's way more like, and she loses her comedian timing, her comedian edge because now she's trying to seem like she's trying to come off like way more professional.
Yeah, her comedic edge to it.
Like a journalist when that's not her thing, because when Lauren was in, she was killing it. And that was her strong suit. She can report the news, she could tell you the details. And then, she had a great rapport with Charlamagne and DJ Envy. And she was doing that during just like segment, her leave, and then on her segments when she returned. So I get her
leave
gripe, but at the same time, you can see how it affects her.
Yeah.
On air. So yes, she has a point, but the second thing she has to address is really being able to have fun on the show again and really just be more genuine and not worry about what people saying because you can see it on her. So I think that's like two things that needs to be addressed on both sides. Yeah, it should be done behind closed doors, but I think there's a talent aspect of it where someone needs to tell her like, "Hey man, you got to figure out how to let that go because you're losing your comedic edge on the show, and then the reason why you was there in the first place."
And then that's what I agree with that because, like you saying, that comedic element is kind of lost. But like with the short term stuff, you got a lot of people paying attention to the show because now they looking for any type of conflict between those two hosts now. And after a while, the tones of the conversation kind of seem like catty and unserious to me in certain aspects. And I think that's what happened with a lot of like even entertainers in general. Like when they get to a certain platform or get to a certain status, they all of a sudden sometimes that doubt or that outside noise creep in. Like sometimes you just got to lean into your strengths, and we see it all the time. I remember when Charles Barkley was first on TV, they were talking about how he talked and how slow, but that's his character trait and dynamic. So if he'd have went and tried to be all buttoned up, that we wouldn't really gravitate towards his words and things that he said like that. You see it all the time with entertainers, like with when Lizzo or somebody they get body shamed, then they go and get surgery, and it's like you can never please everybody,
about it.
And I kind of,
bro, it's like. You kind of got to lose your edge when you start letting people get to your head. You like, now you just phony now because now I can tell how you move and you care that people what they saying. So it's like, it hit different, especially when it's a comedian. You didn't make fun of it. You should have made fun of it.
It's just like,
yeah,
it's just like that.
Tell me.
Jalen Ramsey doing. You can see who
he came up to me after the game.
Whoever you said, like, you tell me.
But you see it. But I think it speaks to like your character a little bit. Sometimes you even see it like athlete. I remember watching the Lamar Jackson game a few years ago. I remember one of the radio personalities commented about it's hard to see the ball, or he's only getting away with that read option stuff because the ball matching his skin. And then the next game, I think they was playing the Bills, and Lamar wore the white sleeves and was doing the same thing. And then in the second half, he just took it off. He just said, "I want to show y'all a little something. I can do this like this, but I prefer this way." And you see when people start to lean into their craft or in their purpose, they get better results because you're always going to have haters, and somebody always going to have something to say. Because even me on this show, I stumble over my words. Some people was like, on the last segment, I said Southwest Airport where I meant Southwest Airlines, but they going to get on you on there for anything. So it's just the nature of the game. If you just lean into your purpose and not let those outside people take away from your craft, that's kind of where you got to stay in that lane. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So let me ask a question. This is totally off of this topic, but what do you think it is about? I think I know the answer, but let me see what y'all got to say. What y'all think it is about our upbringing that we have all found some type of creative outlet to either display our talent or to have some type of creative outlet? What do you think about our?
That's a loaded question.
Put that in.
That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question because
you gonna take that, E?
I mean, obviously we had examples of mom being like on the stage, like we seen that our whole life. So it's like being on stage is something that is a thing, and I wouldn't say necessarily like, oh, I seen her on stage, I want to do that. But it definitely seems like it was a means to express yourself, obviously, and it just kind of exposes to different ways to do things. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, we were exposed to music, we were exposed to sports, and then we kind of leaned into it. I think the biggest thing is that we was exposed to like a visual content that kind of made it look like it was possible. Because a couple of things that stood out to me as a kid is watching like the 5 Heartbeats, the Temptations, and the American Dream, Michael Jackson. And the reason why those things kind of stood out to me because those stories kind of almost embodied what we were kind of going through at the same time. It's like, hey, we just a regular family, and if you have a dream, if you have a talent, you could become the biggest star in the world. You know what I'm saying? And subconsciously, you believe that while you really living your regular life, and then you start making your own. You start making your own type of creative you start doing your own creative expression, and then when you're making the creative expression, you like, I'm gonna keep doing it until I'm famous. You know what I'm saying? So that natural idea, like you keep on doing it, you gonna get better, you gonna become famous. I think that kind of starts the engine. And then the things that you learn on that path mold you into like, this is how Pro Tools work. This is how you make a song. This is how you create lyrics. This is how you create music videos. This is how you edit. All those skills that you form while you trying to chase this thing that you can't really tangibly touch. You build all these tools and all these skill sets that get you to a point where, okay, I could do all these things. What can we do? Like, all right, all those things were fun. Let's create a podcast. I could edit. You could do this and you could do that. So it's like you have all these skill sets that you found fun at one point that you was chasing a dream, but now you can actually utilize in real life form. And we created through all the years, the 35 years, we created like things that were classic to either our family members or just our friend groups or some classmates, or at some point MTV Cribs. Like we created some stuff that people will remember. Like, yo, remember when y'all made? And I just think that feedback when we create stuff kind of keep you going. Like, I could do something better than that. I only did that because I only had a MacBook. You know what I'm saying? I did that because I only had Windows 97. If I had this, I could do that. If I had a better mic, I could sound like this. So it's like that constant thing, like you just like trying to compete with yourself, right? To the point where like you competing with yourself, but people seeing your output, and then you get feedback and make you want to keep on doing stuff. So I think that's kind of what it is.
And you know what's so funny is I think back to that MTV Cribs, and I'm like, how did we even do? Did we even have the technology back then to make that?
Yeah, something like that on Microsoft Movie Maker, something like that. I don't think that software even exists anymore. And I agree. I think it was more so the foundation of having like dad and mom was like a creator, and dad was in his own right as well. And like, I think subconsciously for me, like seeing dad's consistency, like waking up every night and going to work and just seeing that consistency and hard work made me feel like I could pretty much accomplish anything with that mindset. But then also seeing mom's creativity, because it would be like she would be in there playing the piano for an upcoming gig or something like that, creating ways to like, should I put this song first? Should I do this? And subconscious is you learning how the process works with consistency, hard work, as well as creative talent and doing stuff, right? So, and then seeing that me and Ellis, we would shoot videos and putting the camera in a lacrosse stick and putting high angles, and it made you feel, and you even mentioned it, like putting a milk crate on a pole just to play basketball. So growing up in that environment in Baltimore, you have to find creative ways to be solution and find results. And I think that's like, even watching y'all navigate through life, even if y'all got in a hard times, y'all figured out how to make it. You know what I'm saying? Ellis was an undersized linebacker going to high school and found a way to start quarterback. So I think we had those foundational pieces where we had the green light to be in programs and say, oh, you want to do that? Go for it. You know what I mean? Like, y'all learn how to play musical instruments. That's something that I kind of slowly came into by learning how to try to play guitar and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different elements, in my opinion, like watching y'all and just having those foundations with mom and dad.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. You really, like, when you sit back and look at like your upbringing, you see how you develop, you can pinpoint like why you are the way you are. Like, I just think like, why am I always trying to build stuff? Now I remember like Dad, I don't know if y'all was around when he redid the whole basement, sat and watched through that process, and then you see like where it started from to where it finished, and he was like, Dad, you do stuff like this by yourself? And then it's like they're a little small. Then he built the deck and watched that, and I was like, okay, so you can like do all this stuff by yourself. And it's like you don't pay attention to it, because of course I wasn't doing any. He might have built that basement when I was 7, 8 years old, and I didn't do nothing that has anything to do with building all the way up to probably like 25 years old. But it's like that stuff that's still in your head from back then is still circulating in your mind and letting you know what type of stuff is possible. So yeah.
Because the same. And I was there building stuff like, just hand me that. Yeah. Pass me that. Go get the bag from upstairs. And you know you're not doing nothing. You're just sitting there watching it, and you just see it being the finished piece. Like, I was there when he built the extension on the deck, and then when he built the little the trophy case into the wall with the lights and stuff. So it's like amazing going back home and seeing like all the stuff. And they currently still creating stuff. Like, they are currently still creating stuff. Like, actually, I purchased the book with Mom quilts in there. With the so it's kind of cool to see that she's still working on stuff and getting published. And I think I posted on Instagram recently. I'm like, man, they just always continue to create. So you can see right here, you know what I'm saying, her book right here, you know what I'm saying.
That's what's up.
Right here, her built with the quilts and stuff like that. I got her from Walmart, you know. It's a dedication.
And to add on that, and I don't know if it's the same for y'all, but one thing I think we all kind of do. We all do, and the reason why we can continue to create things, because we almost forced to do it. And not that we forced to do it, but we always think about how we can do it first instead of reaching out to somebody to do it, right? So when you think about, like, when you see Dad complete all those projects, you didn't see 3, 4, 5 men come in there and help him do it. When you see Mom working on them songs, you don't see 3, 5, 4 people coming in there to write the song, help her sing, help her find a note, or you don't see 2 people coming there to make the quilts or nothing like that. They figure out, like, all right, how can I self-do this? And then when you have that mindset of self-doing, that trickles into a lot of other things in life. And I think that's kind of something that we probably seen all at some point in that house. Like, it's crazy that we lived in that same house, but then throughout the years, it seemed like we lived in different ones. Because it's always something that was getting built in that house. It was like, oh, like, I don't have to go outside of this house to make this house bigger. Or I don't have to go outside myself to make this idea bigger. It's like, I can figure out how to make this idea bigger myself. I can record myself. I can write my own songs. I can go outside and run around a park with no grass and still feel like I'm working out just as athletes as somebody in the county who got grass. I think we have that idea like we don't need a lot of external things to make things happen. And I think that a lot of people get stagnant in the mindset of thinking that they need 100 people to make something happen. And I think the people who have that mindset where they don't need 100 people to make it happen, you're going to figure it out yourself. Those are the ones that succeed and go past, your natural kind of endpoint.
And that's the fascinating part. They did all this stuff without YouTube. I don't remember watching Dad put on one to-do video to figure out any of how he was doing it.
I remember he used to watch that. It's one old TV channel, like Bob Vila or something. Like that was it. And I think he had like books. It was like crazy. But like just to touch on that, like all of that we just said, like it wasn't even just the people in the house. Like I look back and see like the influence a lot of our family have on us. So like I think about like how I like tech, right? And I like to have like the latest TVs, and I go back to going to Junior house and seeing him having like the latest TV and all the latest technology, or going over Art House and they got the latest game system, or even like going to Aunt Annette house and Uncle James and he have like the nice computer. Like all of that is like in me. Like that's what kind of put that in me. Like I like that. I want that. When I get older, when I make enough money to get that, I'm getting that. So it's like all these other people that we've been around coming up.
No, 100%.
Kind of like rub off on you. It's crazy.
No, for sure. All the cousins and all the uncles, everybody was instrumental, for real.
No, for sure.
That's why I say, I growing up, man, I couldn't have it any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, it's crazy about it because we got like just enough of the hood, but then we got like just enough of the hood and then just enough of like the good life type stuff that like, so you have like that perspective, like, To be honest, none of our family has really been like struggling hood, like poor. No, I don't think I can say that for any of our family. We haven't all been rich either. So it's like we had that good mix of where we be able to experience, navigate both types of atmospheres and environments to kind of like mold you to be like a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why like you kind of fall into your success in a little sense, because we do have we had family events that might have had like some weight or had like battled that adversity and was able to overcome it because we as a family just kind of figured a lot of stuff out. Yeah, and it's what you do, like it comes in waves, you know what I'm saying? Like you never really ever hit rock bottom, but it's this level, whether it's your relationships or money, might not be up to par with something else you have going on, and it kind of just comes in waves, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it's a two-way street too, because then you got to also think about our kids. Like, you got to think about my kids and Ella's kids and Phil. If you ever have kids, they not look at their circle, right? They never going to have to struggle for anything. They never going to have that, and that might not always be a good thing. So like I feel like sometimes that struggle and those down times kind of build you and can influence the type of person you are. But when you grow up in an atmosphere where you never want anything, you got everything you want and you never have any wants, like what is that going to equate to when they get older? Like what type of adversity they ever been through or anything like that. So that's like some of the things you got to think about and try to navigate through, because honestly, that's something that we haven't really experienced that our kids are going to experience. So it'll be,
I was talking about that the other day, because like you don't know what you don't know, in a sense where like you only, probably got different experience, but we didn't have grandpa and we had one grandma that we know, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what that feels like to have my grandfather or both of my grandmothers and both of my grandfathers. I don't know what that kind of experience would have poured into me. And then I just look at my son, like he got both of his grandparents. So like that's already a different experience that he gonna have, where he met both of his grandparents. And I don't know how that molds someone, because I didn't have that. So it's like, it's crazy that, we can create, another stepping stool for our kids, and just put them in a better situation to be, all right, this is the stage that I started at, and now you can start at this stage. Like, mom and dad didn't go D1 or, you know what I'm saying, and was able to walk me through like the recruiting process and what it looks like. But now I have that tool to tell them. We didn't get financial literacy, you know what I'm saying, as kids, and like, hey, this is when you get money, this is how you handle your money. But you can now give them a stage that's a little higher where they can, they already have the knowledge moving forward. So like, this next generation of fosters, we're going to be like the holy trinity. These is the foundation of fosters that gave you a better springboard to get you to, all right, you might not go this, but you might be the one that make it to the actual draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then it's still like, if you go back to what we talked about last week, as far as like the new age athletes and like not having that grit, that's an issue though. If you don't ever go,
it don't gotta be adversity though.
And you starting off here, your
They
competition.
still,
it's not going to be the ones.
They still go through the adversity. It just look different.
To feel it. You know what I'm saying? They might, but you could also expose them to other things too. Like, just as simple as turf. Like, we played on concrete half our life. So it's like, it could be simple as just exposing them to turf. So it's like, I could easily be like, yo, when we was playing, bro, we was playing tackle in the street. Or we was playing throw up tackle. And that's just like the skill set that we had at the time, or what we was exposed to. You can expose them to something better that's going to make them better in their upbringing of whatever they feel like adversity is.
And I just felt like that's like something that, even with time, that we starting to just do as a society. Like, if you look into sports, like when we was playing high school, I ain't gonna say only, that was like 15 years ago, you could crack back block people towards the line of scrimmage. Now you can't. Even with basketball, like, you're a great player if you could shoot a bunch of threes, opposed to like dunking and more of the physical. So I just think in society we making some advances to more so protect more people, and it's the same thing with the kids as well. So you got different type of like censorships, and you got different rules in place to protect the kids, so their adversity is going to look slightly different from ours. I ain't going to say unfortunately, but it's like you don't know how it's going to take toll. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, because it's funny how quickly things change. Just for example, like, just think about like sports and high school sports. I didn't graduate that far ahead of y'all, and if you go back to my high school career, I can't find not one picture, not one video, nothing of me playing high school sports. Fast forward a couple years, and there's YouTube, and there's a whole, I think y'all even had like a whole company that was coming following y'all games. Like, just like the little small stuff like that. Well, you got to think how hard it was back then to be able to get a scholarship or get the attention of a college coach, especially from like Northern high school baseball team. First of all, they might expect maybe a good football player or basketball player from Northern. They're not expecting no good baseball player coming from Northern. So it's like, you got to realize like how hard it would be to get to the next level from Northern in 2002 versus what it was whenever y'all graduated. Was that 2008?
But look, I'm gonna give you the flip side of that though. You having to overcome all the adversity. Imagine all the bad plays that you made since you was in middle school being recorded. You missing that game winner. You dropping the ball in a crucial situation. Imagine you having to overcome that adversity in high school, and these is videos, or you getting ran over, you getting smacked, and then you gotta continue to go and play, and that's recorded content that may have got 10 to 5,000 views or however many views, that you got to overcome, because that's what I think that's going to be the new adversity for some of the younger kids, because they getting the camera in their face since birth. So it's kids out here that have a picture, maybe a video every day of their lives since they've been born and going and running. Would you would have wanted that adversity of having the flip side of being
It's just what you
recorded
know at
and
the time.
documented all that time, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's pressure. That's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were bullied, nobody would know about it. But now you could get cyber bullied. You could get bullied in school and at home now. So it's like, it's these different dynamics where that adversity looks slightly different.
You gotta
from
be way more
ours.
cautious these days of how you move, because that could be on your resume forever.
Right. You can't make no mistakes because, like, I think they was even saying that about certain, like, when some of the quarterbacks or anybody that was getting large contracts, they would go back and look at tweets that they tweeted when they was in high school.
Yeah, they did that to Josh Allen.
Yeah, did to Josh Allen. Yeah, recently. So now you got to hold a 25 to 30-year-old man accountable for something he said when he was 16, 14, where like that don't follow us. And then if you talk to some of those, I mean, watching some of the interviews with people that played sports in the past, they was grateful those things wasn't around, like the Michael Irvins and the Deion Sanders. They was grateful that them cameras wasn't everywhere. So it's like it's a double-edged sword with that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, fam. Thanks for joining us for another episode of From the Crib Podcast, brought to you by Phil, E, and K. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.